If you want these horror stories to continue, please subscribe now. And don't forget to like. I didn't plan to enter the forest. It wasn't curiosity. It wasn't bravery. It was silence, the kind that presses against your ears until you need noise just to breathe again. The forest stood at the edge of the road, dense and unmoving, as if it had been waiting longer than the road itself. No birds, no wind. Even the insects avoided it. I crossed the tree line, and the sound of the world snapped shut behind me like a door being locked. That was the moment I understood. I was no longer a visitor. Inside, the air felt older, heavy, not rotten, preserved. The trees were too close together, their trunks leaning inward, forming narrow corridors instead of paths. I kept walking because stopping felt worse than moving. The ground changed beneath my boots. Soil turned soft, then gritty, then strangely warm. I looked down and saw footprints ahead of me, barefoot, uneven, dragging. They were fresh. They were mine. The forest began to repeat itself. Same fallen log, same split stone, same crooked tree with bark peeled like skin. I passed them again and again, each time noticing something new was wrong. The log had moved. The stone was closer. The tree was breathing. I touched the bark by mistake. It pulsed once, slowly, like a heartbeat acknowledging contact. I pulled my hand back and felt something cling to my fingers. Not sap, something thinner, warmer. Voices came next, not loud, not clear. They spoke the way thoughts do, unfinished, uncertain, intimate. They didn't call my name. They didn't need to. Every sentence ended halfway, as if the forest expected me to finish it myself. I realized then that it wasn't trying to scare me. It was trying to understand me. The realization was worse. I found a clearing that shouldn't have existed. Perfectly round. No trees, no shadows. In the center stood a wooden chair, old, cracked, facing nothing. I didn't sit. The chair creaked anyway. Something invisible shifted its weight. The ground around the clearing was covered in scratches, long, curved marks, circling the chair again and again. Whatever made them had never left. I stepped back. The clearing shrank. The trees leaned closer, closing the gap, sealing the space as if it had never been there at all. I stood surrounded, breath shaking, realizing the forest could erase places the same way it erased people. My reflection appeared where it shouldn't have. Not in water, not on glass. It stood between the trees, watching me, same shape, same posture, wrong eyes. It smiled first. I turned to run and felt a hand touch my shoulder. Gentle, familiar, perfectly confident. I fell. The forest didn't rush to help me up. It waited. The ground pressed into my back, holding me still. Above me, branches twisted together, forming a ceiling. I understood then. The forest didn't hunt. It kept. I screamed, and the sound died before it traveled an arm's length. Something crawled beneath the soil. Not fast, not hidden. It moved like it wanted to be heard. The ground rose in small mounds around me, circling, tightening. Roots surfaced, not tangled, deliberate. They stopped just short of touching me, as if waiting for permission. I whispered, no. The forest leaned closer to listen. I finally escaped the ground and ran until my lungs burned and my thoughts scattered. Then I reached the edge, The road was there. The sky was normal. Sound returned all at once, violently. I stepped out. Behind me, the forest remained still, too still, because I knew, with a certainty deeper than fear, the forest hadn't lost me. It had let me go. I didn't turn around. I knew better. The forest stayed behind me, silent, but the silence followed. It clung to my back, slid into my ears, settled behind my eyes. Even on the road, even with the open sky above me, something inside my chest still felt rooted. When I breathed, it felt like the forest breathed with me. That night, sleep refused me, not because of nightmares, because of clarity. Whenever I closed my eyes, I wasn't remembering the forest. I was returning to it. I could feel the soil again, warm and alive, shifting beneath unseen movement. The whispers were clearer now, not rushed, not hungry, patient. They didn't ask me to come back. They spoke as if I already had. By morning, my boots were dirty. I stood frozen, staring at them. I hadn't gone anywhere. I knew that. Yet the mud was fresh, dark, clinging deep into the seams. It smelled like wet leaves and iron. When I tried to scrape it off, it resisted, stretching, holding, before finally peeling away like skin. The floor beneath my feet creaked. Wood doesn't do that when it's afraid. The forest began to appear in places it didn't belong, between buildings, in reflections, behind closed doors. Tree trunks replaced walls when I wasn't looking directly at them. Branches pressed against windows that faced streets, not woods. I stopped trusting corners. Corners were entrances now. I understood something then. The forest wasn't spreading. It was remembering me into itself. The whispers changed tone. They stopped sounding curious. Now they sounded disappointed. Every thought I had felt observed, evaluated, weighed. When I tried to focus on anything else, my mind slid back, like it was greased toward a single destination. The forest didn't want my body yet. It wanted my agreement. I returned to the edge without deciding to. The road ended the same way it always had. But the trees were closer now, leaning, expectant. The air vibrated softly, like restrained excitement. The clearing appeared again. The chair waited. This time it was facing me. I stepped into the forest willingly. The ground softened instantly, welcoming. The whispers surged, overlapping, joyful but restrained, like a crowd that knows the performance is about to begin. The end